Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Peyton. It is nice to meet you. It is nice to see you. Guys, today is very exciting because we're taking just a little pause from our Happy Home Paradise series to start working on my new island. Finally. In case you guys are new here, I have talked about it before. My new island theme is going to be a European cottagey towncore cute thing. You can tell me based off of what I've already done what you think the correct term is for it. Definitely is European inspired, but it is going to also be natural, so I'm not really sure if it's more towny or cottagey. You guys can let me know. But basically, in this video, I'm going to be going over the villagers that I want for this island, my build ideas, and we're going to be planning out the map. As well as I'm going to show you guys what I've already done, which is just the entrance and the lead up to the plaza. So let's go ahead and do that first. So you come in, well, yeah, let's do that first, and then I'll show you my map. So this is my main entrance. I did take inspiration from a Pinterest photo I saw. I will pop that on the screen right now so you guys can see it. Also, if you hear sirens and cars and things of that nature, I do live in New York City and I apologize. So yeah, here is the entrance. I have never in my entire Animal Crossing history made a diagonal bridge, so I knew it was about time. And what I wanted to kind of get at here is two different feels. I wanted to get at, you go over to this bridge and then you're in the plaza and it's very like, we're in the town. Or you go over to this incline and you go up and it's very natural. And this will all be extended to, I think there's going to be a lot more on this like second layer. We might put buildings and such on here, but for now this is what I've got. It looks really great because it's fall. I'm not sure what it'll look like when it's winter. I also have the cute little scooter moment going on here, Maple smelling the flowers. And then right over here, and I just did this yesterday, I just built a extension up, incline up to match the other side. And that is pretty much it so far for the entrance. Then going in here, which is my plaza, I just have the start of like a town square. I think it definitely needs some more decoration or some more color. I think it's a little boring right now, but I think it's a good start. And then this is my plaza. It's a completely sunken in, which I think is kind of fun and nice. Midge is over here working out. And then next to the plaza, I want to have different little markets. And you go up and you're at Able Sisters. And then you go over to the side and there is also Midge's house, which is going to be a store of her own kind as well. I kind of want all of the villagers to have their own small business or store. And you'll see there's an incline here as well. Originally, I was going to have another clothing store that was Midge owned. Like it was going to be a more, like less fancy, more homemade kind of feel. But now I'm wondering, I might actually try and make Midge a rustic sort of beauty salon. I don't know if that's possible. I don't want it to be very pink and like cutesy. I want it to be, you know, the same kind of vibe as everything else. So if I can accomplish that, then that would be great. And yeah, that is what I've done so far. Here is what this looks like so far on the map. I also did waterscape just a little bit. I will say waterscaping is not my forte, so some of these look a little too like swervy, so I think I will go ahead and fix some of these sections, but this is just what we have for now. Definitely going to add in some more waterscaping. I'm just kind of not really sure. I think it's probably easiest to plan out where the buildings are all going to go first. As you can see, all of the buildings are still on the beach, and my home, which is over here, and the home I make to dedicate to my boyfriend, even though he does not play Animal Crossing, they're randomly on the island, but they're not supposed to be. They're meant to be on the beach. I just didn't really have room, and I figured I'll move them as I find a place for them. So yeah, this is what we are working with so far. So the only buildings that are placed where they're supposed to be are Able Sisters and Midge's home, and that is all. Let's pivot and talk about the villagers I want for this island. I went ahead and made you a graphic that I made a tier list pretty much for you. And I'm going to just talk about these villagers that I want, why I want them, and also, like I had just said, I want each of the villagers to kind of have a small business. So I kind of want to talk about what small business I want to make for the villagers. So starting with our top picks, I picked 10 villagers. These are, ideally the 10 that I would want. Other than we have like a main alternate that's totally okay, which is O'Hare, can totally be switched out for Fauna, and it's like, she's pretty much a top pick too, but I had to kind of pick for the tier list to be even. I kind of had to make a choice. So let me go over it, starting with Eric. Eric has been my number one dreamie for so long, and he is perfect for this island. If you watch my Happy Home Paradise series, if you watch the video where I made Pappy's house, I make a little wood shop, and that was actually my idea to do for Eric's house, but a little bit more expansive. Pappy's was just kind of like, a little taste of it. So I want it to be a hardware store and like wooden goods gift shop, if that makes sense. And I know that I want his house to be like very in the woods. I think there are kind of going to be different sections of the island, some that feel a lot more, towny and plaza-y, and then some that are definitely more farm and cottage-y. So I know I want Eric to be a part of that more woodsy kind of section. And then Felicity has also been one of my top dreamies for so long. And she goes right along with Rudy, who I already have. The whole bottom section of the top picks are villagers I already have, except for Marty, whose amiibo I have. I'm just waiting to scan him in. So for Felicity, I want to make her a bakery. And I want her bakery to be right next to Rudy's small business, which is going to be a pizzeria. And I want them both to connect. Like, we have Felicity's bakery. I almost said bakeria. Like, what? Felicity's bakery window on one side, Rudy's pizza counter window on the other side, and then they both connect and they have like a shared restaurant dining space together. Isn't that adorable? I think so. Next to Felicity, I have Victoria, who I just want so bad. She is just so adorable to me and so underrated. And I really struggled with what exactly I wanted to build for her. But then I decided I think she would be the perfect owner of an antique store, which will be kind of near the plaza, definitely near Nook's Cranny. And yeah, just kind of like rustic-y, weird items that she's collected and she wants you to buy from her. I think that's great. Then we have Miss Molly, who is going to be our farmer. Molly is going to run the farm. She's going to be where all the crops are at, and she's going to run her own farmer's market. I think is so cute. Then we have O'Hare, and he's the only one I'm a little confused about because I don't know if I want him to run a little rustic pharmacy, because I was obsessed with the pharmacy I made in Happy Home, but I'd love to make a very like brown and rustic-y one. So I don't know if I want him to run the pharmacy or if I want him to run a small little bank. I think my inclination is telling me he's more of a bank owner, but I'm not sure yet. So we'll kind of play that by ear. Regardless, I will have a bank and a pharmacy. It's just if I want him to be in charge of either of those. And then going down to the villagers I already have, we have Shep, who is one of my favorites. Love that guy. I have the idea that Shep is very theatrical, which is great because so am I. And I have a vision of putting Shep's house right next to the museum, and I want to build him a theater. I think will be so cute and so fun. In my previous island, Shep owned the record shop, which although I loved that, I think, I need to change it, so I want to have him own the theater this time. I already talked about Rudy's pizza shop. Then moving on to Maple, I'm so excited for this. Maple is, of course, going to own the library, and I have a vision of having the library be a 2-story build. And you know how there are those, ginormous libraries that have those ladders that move around, like you can swing those ladders? So I have a vision of making a 2-tier library with those standalone ladder kits you could place on the cliffs now, and that'll kind of look like those ladders in those really big libraries that you can move around. I think it'll be super, super cute. Love that. And then we have Marty, who I want to put somewhere near Maple because, come on, they're the 2 cutest cubs you ever did see. And I think for Marty, I want him to run the pottery and art studio. I think specifically I want him to run it because I can't not have him next to that pot that looks like a honey pot because he looks like Winnie the Pooh. And I think he's a more colorful villager out of the collection here. So I think it would be nice for him to run the pottery and art studio, get some creativity going. And I think that'll just look cute next to the library. And then, of course, we have Miss Midge, who I already spoke about, and she's either going to have a, sewing specific shop. I think the front of Able Sisters, I'm going to definitely display a lot more clothing. I don't know if you guys could hear that fire truck. Let's just take a pause. The front of Able Sisters is definitely going to display clothes. We're going to use a lot of those cool new clothing store items. And then I was going to have Midge's side when I initially wanted to make her a clothing shop as well. I wanted to make it more like the sewing kit and you see her making the clothes. Maybe she's the one that makes the clothes. But I did have the idea last night to try and give her a beauty parlor instead. So we'll kind of see. And then moving on to our second tier, which is Love Them Too. These villagers are by no means a consolation. I would really love to have any of these villagers as well. The only thing is I'm a little less sure of what exactly their small business would be. I would, of course, have to tailor my main ideas for the top picks, depending on, just for example, if I got Patty, but I also had Molly, Patty's gonna be the farmer, and then I would have to choose something else for Molly, if you kind of know what I mean. And then our maybes, I love these villagers a lot. They're great. The only reason they're in the maybes is I don't know how much they exactly fit the theme I'm gonna go for here. That being said, if I find any of these villagers in the maybe category, I'll be super, super happy about it. I just might need to stop and really consider if I actually want them. Also not included on this list, but an honorable mention because I'm sure we might run into this problem as we villager hunt. I haven't included any of the new villagers, but I will consider most of the new villagers. The problem is none of them really, really fit the vibe that much, except for Roswell. I really love him. He is the only alligator that I really think is super, super cute. That being said, though, I don't know what I would build for him, so I would have to really stop and consider it. Ione is my favorite. I want her for my next island theme so bad. She doesn't fit this theme at all, guys. But if I find her, I might be very conflicted and I might just need to make it work. And same thing with Shino. Shino is great and super cute. And Sasha, too, to that matter. They're super cute, but they definitely don't fit the vibe. But I just might have to take them anyway if I find them. It's just we're gonna have to go by how we feel in the moment as we find them, if you know what I mean. I think those are the only ones we'll seriously consider, but I would love to run into. Oh no, same thing with, what's her name? Azalea, the rhino? Her too. She's great. Love her. Yeah, that's it. That's it for the dreamies, the villagers. Now I just want to briefly show you guys the mock-up map that I've made, and then we're gonna get right into it. So I used Happy Island Designer. I know these icons probably make no sense because what I did here was I used the screenshot of my island so far and I just put stuff over it, but you can't put stuff over a picture really, so I had to kind of fade it out. That's why it looks weird. And they don't have the little black circle icons for the museum and for Nook's Cranny, so I just decided to use the airport ones just so I can kind of see what the little black circles would look like. So in my head, I don't know if you can actually see my mouse, so this is going to be a little confusing to talk about, I think. But starting with the first like big airport thing you see that's pretty much right in the center of the island, that's going to be my idea for Nook's Cranny, because I really struggled with, initially where Midge's house is, I wanted to be where Nook's Cranny is, but there wasn't enough room on the platform I built, so I didn't know where to put it where it would still look good. And I thought putting it right in the center of the island would actually kind of solve the problem, because the three icons of Abel's, Nook's Cranny, and the Plaza are all kind of in a little triangle, and I think that makes it kind of look good. And then the house right near Nook's Cranny is going to be Victoria's antique shop, which I think just works perfectly. And then the house behind Nook's Cranny is going to be O'Hare's, either the bank or the pharmacy, depending on kind of what I decide it to be. Going to the very front of the island, you can see that I placed two people villager houses. So on those two little inclines up that you saw me make already, I think I'm going to put my house and the house that I made for my boyfriend, which both of them are not updated and decorated yet. His I never even decorated, and mine is still in my city core island theme. Going to the left side of the island where the next airport logo is, that's going to be the museum. I believe it might be pushed over a little bit to the right, but that's just gonna depend. Honestly, we're gonna have to look at it. And then the house right next to that is going to be Shep's house, which is the theater, because again, I just think the theater would look really nice next to the museum. Going behind that, those two houses behind the museum are going to be where Rudy and Felicity's joint restaurant is going to be. Going back even further, you could see the campsite, and this one is the one I'm kind of playing around with. I can't decide if I want Eric's wood shop to be to the left of the campsite, because I want it to be close to the campsite, or if I want that to be where the farm is for Molly. So those kind of houses we're not really sure about yet. But the good thing is I don't have any of these I don't have most of these villagers yet. So we're going to be just putting my villager houses that I have now in these spaces anyway, and then as we acquire the villagers we're looking for, we will move them accordingly. So yeah, we'll have Molly and Eric's house on either side of the campsite, and then going to the right, the last two houses are going to be for Maple and for Marty. I believe Maple's is going to be the one closer to the beach because the library is going to take up a lot more of that space. And Marty's pottery and art studio will be next to it. But again, I'm gonna have to kind of play around with that just based off of how I want to map out how big the library is gonna be, because it's going to be one of the more significant builds on the island. And that's the plan, okay? That is the plan. That's what we've done so far. And that is actually where we're going to end today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are excited about the new island. I know I certainly am. If you're interested in seeing how this whole thing goes, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do post videos every other day, so there's always tons of fun stuff. Stay tuned, more Happy Home Paradise videos, more building on this island, villager hunts, the whole shebang. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.